Hey, good morning. So back at Sherwood Forest today. I've come down a different route though, so although I've done this will be the third time I've done a video at Sherwood Forest, every one of them has been a different area. So this time I'm coming into the Birklands area of Sherwood Forest. So although I've done a lot of Sherwood Forest walks lately, I want to catch it before it completely turns. It's so beautiful with the colours, and you know, as the weeks go by they're just getting better and better, but equally we're soon going to lose it and it's going to be winter, which is still beautiful, but you know, you've got to catch these colours while they're there. So I'm making the most of it while I can. Also, my leg's still healing. There's a lot of history to find in here, so it's kind of like a little, I'll put it that way so you're not the sun in your face, put it in my face instead. Yeah, a little I Spy of history stuff. There's a lot of things to find, so I'm heading over to the Thynghowe trail. Thynghowe is a Viking assembly ground, and we're going to go and find that, as well as walking the Thynghowe trail, which was put together by the Friends of Thynghowe and follows the boundary of Worcester. So for anyone who saw the Hartington walk where I was being attacked by cobwebs and spiders, there is a little bit of this going on because this is a less trod walk, so it hasn't been, probably hasn't been gone through too much. I had some cyclists just came up here ahead of me and somebody else has come down, so I would have thought they'd have cleared it, and for the most part they have. It's not too bad, but I did just have a spider hanging off my camera and I can see cobwebs on my jacket, so less happy about that. But the spider was at least a money spider. I can handle a money spider, just about. There was one on my camera last time at Hartington. It was massive. It was sat on my camera. So, not on the lens, so you guys didn't get the fun of it, but it was bad enough. It now had me on edge for the rest of the walk then, because I kept getting covered with cobwebs and expecting that kind of spider to be on me. But yeah, overall though, it's not too bad. People have been down it, so it in theory should have been cleared for the most part. Some frost. It was very cold last night. I think it got down to I want to say 2 degrees, I think I heard, so it's getting colder for sure. Not quite winter yet, but we're getting there. We just passed some people who were collecting like bags and bags of holly, and I mean they must have had about 5 bin liners full, and they each had another one they were currently filling, which just seems really wrong. Like, I know like taking a little bit from the forest isn't hurting anything, like a little bit of foraging and stuff, fine, but just a small amount. I mean, we've all gone blackberry picking, haven't we, and picking hazelnuts and stuff like that, but just in small quantities, you know, enough blackberries to make a crumble or something. But yeah, it does get pretty problematic when people are using it for what I'm going to assume is commercial. Like, I imagine they're making wreaths and craft projects to sell for Christmas, and yeah, it crosses a line, I think. There obviously is a problem as well with people picking mushrooms, because there have been signs up, which is unusual. Like, that's a fairly new thing that they've started having to do, because people are picking mushrooms. I don't know, I mean, it must be en masse, like apparently bags and bags of them. You know, they're for the animals. We don't leave them much. They don't have a lot of land they can roam on, and they don't have a lot of areas that's theirs, basically. And this is theirs, and that's their food. So to go through sort of stripping forests, the little bit of forest that we have, isn't really fair. Overall, we should be following the take only photographs, leave only footprints rule where possible, and obviously the leave no trace rule as well. So yeah, just a little thing I noticed. Yep, so we're by the main road. Although we don't have to cross it, but it's just there. So due to some technical issues, as in I don't know where my phone is, I don't have the information I wanted about the Thynghowe trail, so on that I can only point out what I remember, and I'm hoping it's some. It should be first stop St Edwin's Chapel, in terms of little historical I Spy things to find. Well, I really thought I was turned around a little bit and I was going to have to rejoin the route I came off of, and that's going to take me over to St Edwin's Chapel, but actually I've just stumbled across it, so I was exactly where I thought I should be. I just showed you. It's been a while since I've done this route. It's a good job I took the turn I took then. Erected by William Arthur, 6th Duke of Portland, KC, in 1912, marks the site of a royal chapel, chantry and hermitage dedicated to St Edwin, King of Northumbria, of which the few stones here collected are evidence. So King Edwin was commemorated here because in 633 AD, King Edwin of Northumbria died in battle at Cockney, I believe it was, and his body was laid to rest here briefly before being taken up to I believe York, and then eventually I think he was taken to Whitby. Like I said, I don't have the full fact because I've lost my phone, but yeah, so the chapel was here to commemorate him. Edwin Stowe means Edwin's holy place, and it was named that after King Edwin was laid to rest there. There is actually a little bit of debate on where King Edwin died, where the battle was, because it's believed to be, I think it's up sort of Doncaster way, but there's several places with the same name as where it was recorded the battle happened, and Cockney nearby does have, like, they've found an old mass grave that would probably date the right time for that battle, and nothing's ever been found in the one up north, but also it wouldn't make any sense to lay King Edwin here to take him back up north to York, you know, whereas coming from Cockney, that would be reasonably en route. So it does make far more sense that that's the reality of what happened. But until they do some proper archaeology on it, you know, and the find that they had at Cookney, they really aren't going to know. So it would be good for them to do that and have that properly in the records. Now, my map would be quite useful around this moment because obviously I'm at a crossroads, and I do think that this one is the Thynghowe trail. So I am just going to turn up it, and hopefully we'll start coming across things to confirm that. There are still quite a lot of ancient oak trees dotted in among these younger trees. Well, there's a little turn off there, but to be honest, I don't think I'm on the Thynghowe trail because it does have little markers here and there up it, fringe of Thynghowe markers. But I'm hoping if I keep going I'll meet up with it, or at the very least we'll eventually get to Thynghowe, which is essentially where I want to be. Is that a deer? I think there's a little baby deer. Like a little muntjac. He was sort of stood staring at me, so I just thought he was a log, if I'm honest. But no, it was a little deer. I would like to point out here the deer are wild, they aren't captive deer like it on estates and things when you've got, you know, they have captive deer on them. You know, this is a wild area, so. I feel like that might be Thynghowe Trail meeting up with this one, so it could be. It could be I want to this is when I really wish I had my phone with me. I think my bearings. I was going north. I mean, it's hard to know. Okay, it's not hard to know. I've got a compass, so let's do that. Because what I want to be going from where I was, I pretty much want to have been heading north. I don't get the feeling I've been moving around too much, but that is very hard to know. Right, so going straight on is north, and I know I want to be north, so that's fine. I'll keep going. There's another deer down there, maybe the same one. And from where I was, Thynghowe Trail should be running north, and although I don't think I'm on that, I'm most likely on something parallel, if it's not that. But I'm sure there's markers, that's what's making me think I'm not on the right trail. But if I'm heading north, then I should be heading towards Thynghowe, so yeah, that's my logic. Okay. So I've just passed a walking group, and it was right when I was actually joining on to the Thynghowe trail. I found it, I'm on the trail now. I'm actually walking the wrong way on it. So they stopped to look at what I was going to stop and look at. Yeah, I knew they would, and I knew I was going to end up being weird, you know, with my camera. So I moved away from them, and now they're stopped. I thought I'll let them go, but then if I just stood there, it would be even weirder. So I walked a bit further down the opposite way, pretending that's obviously what I wanted to do. There's a nice tree, look. Let's look at this tree. So I think it's like a guided walk that they're doing. But now I'm going to look even weirder. Oh man. Okay, they're moving on, but they're probably thinking, why is she just stood there looking at that tree, talking to herself in a camera? Right, they're moving out the way. Okay, so anyway, at least I've made it to the trail, so I'm finally on track. This is a little bit of it that we were supposed to come down. And this is what I found that I wanted to show, and ended up. Ooh, there's a cobweb there. So that's another Thynghowe Trail marker, and it's saying it's this way, so I'm going to come along this way. I naturally wanted to go up there. I actually wonder if this is where I think it is. If this might actually be Thynghowe. Because I think the Thynghowe Trail does just sort of wander you past it. I don't think they try and take you into it at all. Although it's on a map, it is out there for people to know where it is. But it would equally be sort of bad for the area if it got too popular, if that makes any sense. It's not very well known. There's also not much there. There's very little to see, but I think it's certainly one of the last remaining. There aren't many, if maybe it's the only remaining assembly ground that they know of. But this area hasn't been sort of built on and developed, so it is as it always was to some degree. So yeah, it was right. It's hard to tell, you know, as the changing seasons as well, it's really hard to really see where you are. And last time I came here, this was just pure bracken. You know, it was in the spring, and it was full of bracken. Really hard to get round it and to get in here. You sort of just had to know the route into it, whereas now it's really very open actually. It's certainly not a tourist attraction or anything like that. And maybe you can see why. There's nothing here. This is it. But I do like to think of the history that happened in these places. So this is this little hill is a mound. This was a boundary stone, I believe, or some kind of ancient stone. Anyway, I think that's a boundary stone. There are various ones on this trail marking the boundary between Warsop and Edwin Stowe. But yeah, so there's sort of these old things we find here. But the Friends of Thynghowe are a group that maintains all of this. So this is the mound I was talking about. We were kind of just walking on it, so it was hard to show it while you're on it. yeah, it looks a bit better now. It's cleared actually. Like I say, it was just pure bracken last time I came up here, which is very disappointing because you can't see much of anything. But is there anything in this direction? Right, so now I've done that, am I heading back to the trail? Yeah, the main things I want to show you was St Edwin's Chapel and Thynghowe, which we have covered. Further up, I think there's more boundary stones and what else was there? And some World War II, because it was an area, so this is also known as Hanger Hill, and that comes from World War II. So there is some markers for that, but to be honest, not much. So whether it's worth, I think I'm walking in this direction now. This goes, where I'm going now takes me back to towards Sherwood Forest, and because of my knee I don't want to overdo it. I've probably gone further than I intended to already. Beautiful golden tunnel. It would have been a shame to miss this, so I'm really pleased that I made the decision I made. I mean, I'm sure it would have been equally beautiful up there, I don't know, but I know this is. I'm really happy. Look at that. Look at the colours. I mean, it was gorgeous last week, but yeah, this is the right decision. I'm really pleased I came here. And this area is so quiet, so less used compared to the main part of the forest. Not many people seem to appreciate it's even here, to be honest. It isn't as easy to navigate. You don't have the markers apart from Thynghowe Trail, and that's when you find it, with the seams of it. Obviously, I turned too quickly when I was trying to find it. But especially if you've got a map of the area, you find, and it's not even too bad when you if you know sort of the rough directions you want to be in, especially if you've got a compass to help you. So when you lose your bearings, you can get back on track easy enough. It's easy enough to navigate. A lot of mushrooms. Yeah, quite a lot of fun getting around here. Like I say, people do have a problem with people picking them, and they really shouldn't do, so it's just worth noting. Leave the food for the wildlife. They have to eat something. So yeah, if I'd have kept going up Hanger Hill and toward Budby, yeah, I think there was some World War II areas of note, but I don't think that there's anything to see, if you know what I mean. So although I could point out, that in this area, whatever happened, without the information, I actually don't know exactly those areas and exactly what happened. I just know there's some World War II significance up there, so I don't think it was worth me carrying on, and perhaps it'll work its way into another walk some other time when I have the information I need for it. But I did pass the two areas I wanted to pass, and that's the main thing. Just to give you a bit of a feel on this map. So this is the visitors centre. I came up this way and then I turned off down here. and I've come down this path, and I went down there, and then we were out here in the Birklands area. We're back up here, so I've come along here, and we met back up. And this is the Wildwood Trail. Last week I went up here into Budby South Forest Reserve, and I came down there, but I'd already come along here a little bit, so instead I'm going to go down this section here. I'm going to meet back up where I turned off. Actually down there. If I could get it right eventually. Come down, meet where I turned off, and then back down toward the visitor centre and back to the car. I got there eventually, right? It's hard to tell on that map. I know what I'm talking about, it's just hard to put it on a map. Right. So yes, at Wildwood Trail down there, so I'm going to come down this bridle way. So it suggests on that map, and I'm sure it's right, that this whole forest is the Birklands. And if I'm honest, I thought of this always just as the country park, Sherwood Forest, like it doesn't have its own name. It just is that, but it would make sense, it does have a name. But I always thought of the Forestry Commission area as the Birklands. Then there's the Budby South Forest, which used to be an MOD training ground, and it's now a nature reserve and opened up to the public, so we can go through that, which I did in last week's video, and it was very beautiful. A lot of grasslands and heathland. So this the Birklands area calling it that, like I say, perhaps all of this is Birklands. But the Forestry Commission area, I think a lot of that was grassland to start with, and they've planted into it. So that's why it's not run as the ancient woodland is. Whereas this has always been here. From like the Ice Age, this has always been this wood. So heading back to the visitor centre area now, and getting into the bit where it's going to get really busy. There's going to be a lot of people around, and I've already shown it, or it's the bit I came in on, but plus I have already covered a lot of this forest in previous videos. So if you'd like to see more of Sherwood Forest in autumn, then check out my video last week where I show more of this ancient woodland area. And I also have done another video, Sherwood Forest, which we go down with these trails here in this section, and that's was in the summer. And I do talk about a little bit of the history in it. There's hopefully not too much of that for you, but if you're interested, it's there. So if you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.